Hi, friends and fellow Earth Angels. It's Gladys, and welcome back to another one of my weekly Sunday card readings. And this spread will start by covering May 30th through June 5th, or whenever you're guided to watch, as I always intend these to be timeless readings, meaning whenever it shows up in your feed, that is when it's time to receive the messages. So welcome, friends. We are, as this reading goes live, officially in Mercury retrograde season, the eclipse tunnel, Saturn's retrograde, Pluto's retrograde, and all that fun stuff. So for me, Mercury's going retrograde in my 12th house, which means I am doing a lot of inner work on myself, a lot of shadow work. So if you're into the astrology, I think it would be really great for you to check in. There are some amazing apps that can read your chart and let you know where the Mercury retrograde is in your chart. That will give you some energy to focus on where in your chart it pops up. So it could be work, it could be personal, it could be relationships. For me, it's in my 12th house, like I said, which is about my inner work, secrets revealed, my subconscious, all that fun stuff. So that's just a little tidbit to support you in the energy. The energy feels really different. So I have chosen an eclectic group of cards that I have not used in a while. So we'll just see how it unfolds. One of the guidance that I was getting before I started was I kept hearing the words amazing grace. And then I went and looked up the definition of grace. Now I know what grace means, but I wanted to get more clarity and feel how I was connecting with the word intuitively. And so your guides this week want to remind you about giving yourself grace, which what I feel the word grace is forgiveness, compassion, and kindness. So important now when all this stuff is coming up, our work, spiritual work that needs to be done can come to surface. It can be revealed, especially with the intensity of this energy. So, I had planned to rest and recoup and recharge and journal and pray and meditate. And that's really what a big focus of mine personally has been in May. So I would encourage you to do the same if you can, or give yourself pockets of time this week. Again, if you're triggered, if you're going through experiences and you don't know what to do about it, being able to kind of move through it and go and give yourself space after the fact to process it, to sit with it, to feel it out, to journal about it. And again, remember, challenges that people are experiencing right now, it's all about learning, right? When we're learning and we're growing, it can be challenging. We're in the thick of it, friends. So extra patience this week, extra kindness and forgiveness for yourself. I am sending you so much extra love because we're all figuring it out. We're in this new mentally, emotional, and spiritual energy in a way that our ancestors have never experienced it. So, there's so many earth angels on this planet who are, paving new paths. I see leaders of the pack. I see wolf energy, right? Going ahead. So, know that we really need to balance boundaries and personal needs and communication and rest and pause and stillness and all that fun stuff. All right, friends, so the cards I will be using is starting with getting a guide for the week from the Keepers of the Light deck, and then additional messages from the Mystical Wisdom card deck. And then I'm going to pull from the Magical Messages from the Fairies and the Magical Unicorn Oracle cards. And finally, I'll finish with an affirmation for the week with the Gateway Oracle cards. So this will be fun to see how it all unfolds. I'm really trying to tap into playful energy myself. So coloring and, like I said, cooking and baking and all of that music. I've been listening to music that's getting my body moving. So I've been just kind of trying to counter the intensity of the work that I'm doing with playfulness. So again, that might be supportive or helpful for some of you out there, especially if you're in the thick of it all. All right, friends, let me open up space, inviting in all your guardian angels and guides, the archangels, the ascended masters, the divine mother and father, and all their holy beings of light that would like to assist with this guidance for you today. And I'm going to ask that any healing messages that come through be for your best and highest good and the best and highest good of all concerned. All right, so specifically, I connect my heart to the heart of the Keepers of the Light deck and all the beings that are part of it. All right, so let's begin here. Keepers of the Light. What is the most important guide the Earth Angels need to hear, see, feel, and know this week? Oh, I'm just going to make it easy. All right, so we have Freya. Wow, phases and cycles. I mean, look at the crow energy, the raven energy here. We've got the moon, right? We are in the lunar eclipse in Sagittarius. In a few weeks, we will have the solar eclipse, I believe in Gemini. So don't quote me on that. I've been absorbing a lot of information, but we're in this eclipse tunnel, and so you might be in the midst of phases and cycles and breaking cycles. And her message says, this is a beginning within every ending. Illusions are revealed and released. It's such a phenomenal, exciting time on this planet. Like I've said, I have been taking a lot of time doing some inner work and praying and meditating and really personally separating from the outside world. Where I'm located, we're still in, the lockdown, and things are just starting to open up. So for me, I'm feeling the shifts that are happening with the clients that I'm working with, the people that I'm connecting with. I'm seeing massive shifts. And so I just want to take a moment to commend you, to pat you on the back, to give you a hug, an energetic hug for all that you're moving through. It is exciting, but it also can be intense. It's all good, right? And there's a massive growth that's happening right now. So it's really important for you to stay within your own body, your own I almost say want to stay within your own space. It almost feels like it's really easy to get enmeshed in other people's stuff if we're not mindful. And so I feel like Freya is coming up as a way to kind of reflect back that we're breaking cycles. We're moving into new phases energetically and spiritually. And there's a lot that's unseen, things that are coming to surface. And so she's here to support you. Like I said, especially with the lunar energy. I just posted the full moon in Sagittarius pick a card reading. I will link that at the end of this video. I'll also put it in the notes below because it was really heavily focused on relationships in general. So if you've got stuff going on in your work environment, or you're making changes and starting to take action, separating from the pack per se, that may be some of the readings that you want to check out. But again, there is a beginning here with every ending. So if you're in the midst of change and transformation, right? So, when the lunar eclipse or the full moon came came in a few days ago. It was at 5 degrees Sagittarius and 5 degrees Gemini in the sun sign of Gemini. And so we're in a 5-month, which is May. We're in a 5-year, 2021 equals 5. So there's massive transformation that's coming on. So I almost feel like for those of you who are holding on to the old for dear life, and it's bringing up control stuff, it's bringing up anger, it's bringing up fear and confusion, know that you are not alone, and the divine wants you to know that they're working with you, and that change and growth and expansion is a really good thing. And anything, I'm a firm believer. I've always been a firm believer, and this doesn't make it easier, but I have this deep inner knowing that God doesn't take anything away unless he's going to replace it with something even better. And I don't mean as God is one being just taking something out of your life. I mean it as a mass level, an energy, a lifestyle. If something is supposed to shift out of your life, it's the finality of that maybe cycle or that phase of your life, and it's guaranteed that something else will come in that's even better. Now, I'm not saying it's easier. It'd be more that we have to work toward. It might be a next step. So understand if you're in this place of like, I'm so afraid to sever this cord or this relationship or speak up, know that Freya is saying that this might be a cycle and a pattern that you've been experiencing for a long time, and it's time for you to shift that. Sometimes we can be in this energy of like almost like chasing our tail. It's like never ending. So, hence my time to do my inner work, saying like, all right, I'm seeing the patterns. I need some space here. I've got to go within. And the divine has always given me a pathway, a lead, some guidance. And, it's a lot of hard stuff. So I don't know exactly what you're going through, but I understand this journey can be really challenging. It can be frustrating. It can be confusing. It can be scary, daunting, but it also can be incredibly liberating and enlightening and powerful. So know that Freya is here to support you, and the crow raven energy is here to tell you that change is upon us. I mean, it's so significant that this card with the moon and, like I said, the crow, the raven energy came forth. So the second card that came out is call to action, right? Commander Ashtar, take charge, lead by example, walk your talk. Wow, look at these. They're both purple cards. There's a lot of blue energy here, a lot of universal starry energy. So it feels like third eye, being able to go within and receive guidance and answers and following the leads is an incredible, valuable resource right now. And I think this speaks to what I was saying earlier about if we're going outside of ourselves for somebody to tell us what to do or where we should go or what the next steps are, it can become really murky and confusing. So I'm feeling like these two guides are coming up, and he almost feels like celestial. He almost feels like there's a lot of sacred geometry going on here. There's this royal blue energy, and this is why I'm feeling like you're being guided to go higher this week. So pay attention to your old ways of doing things, the things that were your comfort zone and what you would lean on. And I feel like these guides are encouraging you to explore other options. So here's the cycles and rhythms. We're becoming very clear about it, but we could also be moving in a week that is encouraging us to finally make changes, right? Minor adjustments make huge changes in the long run. So this isn't always necessary about stay or go, because when it's time, the shift will happen naturally. It's about your own inner work. It's about your own inquiry questions. It's about your own saying, I'm open and receptive to you supporting me and showing me the next steps. I invite you, to assist me, show me the best way forward. So we're really learning how to co-create with the universe, especially at this place in time where manifesting like faster than ever now. And again, we're in the Sagittarius full moon energy, so it's a fire sign. Sagittarius is like a playful sign. It's the adventurer. So that's why I feel like your guides are encouraging you to have a little fun in the midst of this transformation you're going through. It's there's a lot of communication energy coming in a few weeks. We'll have Gemini, new moon that will come in, which is likes to talk and be chatty. So, be mindful about gossip, be mindful about drama and getting enmeshed into things and consumed with, 3D energies, and make changes, right? Leaders of the pack. That's what I keep seeing. You guys are leaders of the pack. So it's now time to go forward courageously. Whatever that means to you. And it could be just changing your life. It could be focusing on your finances. It could be focusing on education. Maybe you're starting a class. It could be focusing on personal growth and development or health, right? There's so many aspects that this can come into, but it's not like stay or go or drastic changes. Know that minor adjustments, right, lead to long-term changes, one step at a time here. All right, so let me get into, what is this deck? Mystical Wisdom. All right, friends. And I love that we have the feminine and the masculine energies showing up here. So feminine being like the moon energy, the hidden, the mystical, and then we have this masculine energy here as well. Third eye, which is where you get your guidance, to move forward, your call to action. I love that. All right, so what additional message do you have? This is kind of an action card. All right, so Ashtar said, call to action. What actions can they take? Knowing this, what actions can they take that would be most supportive to their journey this week? Ooh, 7 deadly sins. Humanity's destructive traits. So, oh, wow. I was kind of hoping for a light and fluffy reading. I felt like we all needed that, but this is what's coming up. Sometimes it's just what we need. It's not what we want, right? So this is a hard look at procrastinating, escapism, addictions, food addictions. It's really looking at ourselves, right? It's looking at worries, fears, again, not in a space of shame or blame, but I feel like the call to action is really taking a hard look and taking ownership for where we're at, just kind of like a pinpoint. Like I'm seeing a map and I'm seeing like those push pins, and it's like I'm seeing like a push pin that goes into one part of the map and then like a push pin that goes into the other side of the map. So this reading is really about like where you're at, like just kind of coming to terms with, okay, this is where I'm at. So for me personally, if this is helpful, my karma is with relationships. All kinds of relationships. And I am deep in the thick of attachment style research and attachment therapies. And so I've had to take a good hard look at where I'm at. And the ego is certainly coming up, and things that I don't want to see or don't want to look at, things are getting like really intense. But because I was feeling all these things, I have like now a push pin of my start point, and I have now an idea and a map of where I want to go. So I feel like this card came up not as like shame or you're doing it wrong or, shame on you or anything like that. It's actually a perfect time for you to take a good hard look at where you're at, right? It's kind of like with the crow energy and the Pluto energy and things coming to surface and us getting clearer communication with ourselves, right? It's a space for us to really kind of take a cold hard look at where we're at and own it, and just saying, okay, now that I know, now I can move forward. So sometimes, now I don't recommend this for everybody, but it's an example that's coming up, is like, getting on a scale to see where you're at, right? Now, again, I know that earth angels can certainly struggle from eating disorders and things like that. So this is not a suggestion if you're struggling with health to get on the scale, if it's going to trigger you, if you're not there yet. But sometimes, like it's figuratively, is sometimes we just kind of not need to know what we're dealing with. So we know that progress is actually happening, right? That we can actually journal. So sometimes the push pin will be journaling, just kind of writing where you're at, noticing what you're noticing, being able to take a look at it in a non-judgmental way. So I know they're in here, so let me just name them. Not that we don't already know. Let me just name them. So observing or taking a good hard look at, let's see, sloth, which could be laziness, being physically or emotionally inactive, gluttony, overindulgence, lust, an intense desire for physical or sexual gratification, greed, excessive pursuit of material possessions and power, wrath, extreme feelings of uncontrollable anger, envy, discontentment around others' good fortunes. And then the seventh one is pride, excessive self-love, and arrogance. And there's all varying degrees of these on so many on the spectrum, right? So again, I just really want you to, now it makes sense why I was guided to Amazing Grace, right? This is just coming up and being super forgiving, super loving, and super compassionate as you start seeing these things, right? It's about being self-aware and self-actualization. It's like taking responsibility, but in a curious, compassionate, observatory space, as opposed to the inner critic, right? You're now going back to these phases and cycles and being able to approach it in a different way, right? And how we exercise, let's say exercise is a thing, not going into it to lose a certain weight, to look a certain way, right? That's kind of like the ego pride, right? And the viewpoint of the body of like objectifying yourself, right? That you have to look, in order to matter or feel good, that you have to look a certain way or be a certain weight. But being able to look at these things and saying, like, when I exercise regularly and I walk every day, or I'm able to lift some light weights every day, I feel really good in my body and I just feel good in my clothes. And that's why I'm doing it, right? So, if you're eating healthy, because I feel really good and these foods are really nourishing and I'm going to put in the work. And so it's going to be about starting slow, right? So I know if you've been following me at any point of time, I've mentioned that I bought an exercise bike at the end of January because I wasn't getting out anywhere anytime soon, and so I just hit 400 miles on my bike, and I'm just so proud of myself, and I'm so proud of the approach and the energy that I've put into it. It's actually kind of become my friend, and we have kind of have a good time together. And so, you're talking about to somebody who has struggled with eating disorders and body dysmorphia issues, my entire life. So, being in this space, I also have now realized that it's slow and steady wins the race, right? I put on 400 miles on the bike, but I started off at a 1 resistance, right? And then over time, I moved up to 2, and now I'm up to a 3 resistance, and it's taking me like 5 months. So have I lost a lot of weight? No. Are my clothes fitting a little bit better? Sure. But in the grand scheme of things, I feel better. I feel more stable. I feel more empowered. And for me, it's so worth the time and energy of taking it slow. So know that this isn't about drastic changes. It's about recognizing the cycles and making minor adjustments in these areas to feel better for a longer period of time. All right, so fairies, what message, fairies, magical fairies, do you have for the Earth Angels this week? There's so much purple energy, spiritual energy. I think I'm gonna go with that one. Winter. Interesting. So it says the answers to your prayers and affirmations are fully realized in the winter months. It's so interesting this came up. Of course, it's gorgeous purple, right? More spiritual purple energy here. Again, purple is a protective color. A lot of spiritual people are guided to the color purple. It's a lot about the unseen. So secrets revealed this week, things coming to light. So for example, this winter, it doesn't necessarily mean literally winter. It could also mean a season in your life. So for example, we have been experiencing this global pandemic and lockdown for a year and a half now. About a year and a half. Well, maybe a little less than that, but it's been over a year. And so that was, and still is for many, a season of winter. I personally am in winter in my life. I am reading, I'm in my cave energy, I'm doing inner work, I am in hibernation mode, energetically on my spiritual journey. So know that even though here in the Northern Hemisphere, it's spring and people are starting to go out and get active again, if you're not feeling that, and if you're feeling a call to go within, to do inner work, you could be in a season of winter. It could also, winter is a time to go within. It's a time to kind of bundle up. So, you could be getting, if you're in an energetic season of winter right now, maybe you're journaling, maybe you're feeling like you want to cocoon, maybe you've been in a space of reflection. Maybe you've had a surgery, or maybe you've gone through an experience and, it's brought you home, or in that winter state in your own life. Maybe you've gone through a relationship change, or, some type of transformation in your life. You could be energetically in the season of winter. It's time to really bundle up. And so the card is a reminder that the answers to your prayers and affirmations are fully realized in the winter months. And for me, it's like in the hibernation, in the meditation, in the silence, right? So, this can be like, again, literal and figurative. So you can create pockets of winter throughout your day, meaning going within, taking time for reflection, getting cozied up in your bed, getting cozied up. I know here we are in New England and it's a Memorial Day weekend and it is going to rain every single day and be gloomy and freezing cold as true Mercury retrograde would have it. I always say it always snows and it always rains when Mercury goes retrograde. It just always happens. So I'm not surprised, and I have plenty of books to read, and I've got lots to do for my winter. So, understand that if you're not able to go out and celebrate and just kind of, have cookouts or do the things that you normally do, especially here in New England. I have no idea what's going on in the other parts of the country and the world with regards to weather. But, instead of resisting, I wanted to do this and I had all these plans. It's not fair, right? Kind of stir up a lot of emotions. We can just surrender into the will of what is. It's not anything that we can change. And it's like, okay, what else needs my attention right now? What else can I look at? And like I said, in meditation, in silence, in stillness, and pause, all those spaces and pockets of time, that's where you're going to find your answers. And I feel like that's what I was speaking to earlier about using your inner map, your compass, your inner guidance, as opposed to going externally for answers outside of you. All right, unicorns. What is the most important message unicorns that the Earth Angels need to hear, see, feel, and know this week? I'm like, could quite possibly. Just make it really clear. Just make it really, really clear. Okay. It's still confusing. All right. Let me see. Unicorns. I think you're messing with me. Let's see. There we go. All right. Is there one? Yes. Oh, one step at a time. Lots of little steps make big dreams come true. I've said that many times this reading, right? Minor adjustments make huge changes in the long run, right? Minor adjustments. One step leads to another. So I'm so glad I shared those stories. And this is really just kind of more validation that when we can kind of sit with, okay, this is going to take time. And I don't have an agenda for it. Oops, I don't have an agenda for it. I don't have an attachment to the outcome. I'm going to go into this for the experience. I'm going to go into this to explore and learn more about myself. So maybe it is gluttony, right? I totally got into that, a few days ago. Or last week at some point. I just ate too much. I knew I was eating too much, but it was too good to stop. And so I felt like, oh, I'm totally in gluttony. And then again, with amazing grace, I was forgiving myself and I just really enjoyed the food I was having. And I felt like I knew I ate too much afterwards. And, I just kind of reflect on it. And I was like, okay, well, next time I eat, I'm just going to be more mindful and I'm going to eat slower. And so that's where the amazing grace comes in, right? When we can realize we're doing these things like, oh, I'm going to the wine and, I know that I'm covering up emotions. Just acknowledging it is freedom in of itself. Like, all right, I get it. And so I'm going to make adjustments. I'm going to give myself like time to follow a step-by-step process to achieve my goals. And what you'll learn is more about the experience that you learn about yourself in making the changes as opposed to the end result, right? As opposed if we're constantly ahead on the goal and the finished product and the outcome, more often than not, we're going to be disappointed or we're not going to feel the way we thought we would feel putting all that time and energy into it. So beautiful unicorns reminding us this week, one step at a time, right? Give yourself a year for change, right? If it's to feel better in your body and starting with just going for 10 minutes of a walk every day and just being present outside and talking to nature and just, feeling and connected, breathing in the air, feeling connected to the earth. Sometimes, like I said, that alone can be enough to inspire you to make adjustments in other ways. It doesn't not have to be all or nothing. I feel like I want to share that too. You don't have to be all in. It's not about stay or go. It's about the adjustments, what you're learning about yourself, your needs, what matters to you, being able to express it, being able to work through your own discomfort or, the like feeling bound up in the throat, fears, all that stuff. And, like I said, you can call on these guides to assist you through that this week. And finally, let's see here. We have the Gateway Oracle. What is an affirmation? Right? These are affirmations? Yeah. What is an affirmation that can support you this week? So if you're having a tough time or things are coming up and you're getting overwhelmed, or even if things are really good and you're excited about the space that you're in, and even though it's challenging, it's working for you, that's amazing too. An affirmation that can support those that are in many different spaces. I'm just going to go with it. So I did say those of us who are in many different spaces. So understand this is a general reading. So one or two of the cards could resonate with you. They can all resonate with you. And the same thing with these affirmations. So there's 3 of them here. So this must mean that there are multiple messages, people in multiple different spaces to connect. So let's see here. So the first affirmation is trusting your intuition. Again, I love how I repeat myself. I love it. I love how I channel a message and then the cards just back it up. And I think it's important because, we need to hear things over and over again before they settle in. So again, this is just more validation of doing the inner work and really getting to know what intuition is like and what those gut feelings and those those hits are. Like, oh, I know that's what I need to do. I know this is the right step, or this is the time, right? And we don't want to be impulsive, but we want to kind of check in and just know the difference, what impulsivity is and what is divine guidance, right? Sometimes just that experience alone is part of the process. So the affirmation is, my life is truly guided. This is so beautiful. My life is truly guided. Telling you, friends, so true. The second affirmation that comes up, soaring into joy. Childlike wonder fills my life. Again, this is getting into having some playtime, having some fun time, right? Maybe it's baking, maybe it's creative arts, maybe it is putting on some really fun music. I've been listening to reggaeton, which, I just old school reggaeton. If any of you are into that, it really just gets my body moving and really lights me up. So maybe you've got some fun soca music, or you've got some fun, I don't know, country music that really gets you excited. There's so much out there, classical, whatever floats your boat. So being able to counter or balance all the inner work that you're doing and the changes that you're making with some fun, right? Childlike wonder fills my life. If you're blessed enough to have children in your life, ask them, like, what would be the most fun thing we could do right now? Oh, that's my package. I knew that was going to come in the middle of this video. Hopefully they'll just leave it. What was I saying? My cousin, her daughters had their last day of school, and the moms got like silly string and like sprayed them with the silly string when they came out of the bus stop. So just kind of having fun with them. So sometimes if you've got kids, asking them like, what would be something really fun to do? Pull out some shaving cream, get some silly string, make some jewelry, like all that fun stuff. So maybe countering that with this fun stuff this week. And then finally, wow, coming into your power. Ta-da! It says, I step into my power boldly and confidently. This is a phenomenal exclamation point, right? Let's just put you over here, little friend. So they're all here. My gosh, this is amazing. This is so fun. Oh, good, they left the package. It's almost like the angels have arrived. All right, coming into your power. And again, it's no coincidence that this person is looking up, right? Coming into your power. This is your divine power, your divine feminine essence. It's your intuition. It's your guidance. And this is what's happening, So if you wonder, like, God, I'm looking at this and these cycles and these patterns, and here it is again. And, these family dynamics or these relationship dynamics or this personal stuff I'm going through. Like, what's the point of all this? I'm exhausted. I'm tired. Usually if you're in that space, check in with yourself and seeing how much you've been giving. Right? When you can kind of come back into the place of receiving, like, all right, let me just receive the warmth of my bed, get into a hot bath. Or for me, I love taking hot showers. Like, there's nothing amazing. Like, I will literally get in the shower and just say, yes, that just feels so good. I just love the hot water on my head, and my skin. So, and I just receive it. I just receive the feelings. So, and it's so powerful afterwards, right? You feel cleansed, you feel refreshed. So how can you receive and nourish yourself, this week, in balance to all the work that you're doing and all the giving that's happening, and all the adjusting that's happening. Remember, you're not alone in this, friends. I'm getting like an influx of new clients who are kind of brand new to the spiritual journey. I mean, they've been dabbling and they've been awakening and they've been opening up, but yet I noticed that the space that I am in and the space that they're in is really the same energetically, right? So it doesn't matter like how long you've been doing spiritual work. It doesn't matter where you're at. We're all going through this. We're all having these experiences. This is why these readings are resonating with many of you, and you're coming back week after week. I mean, I think it's really beautiful that I have had a consistent amount of viewers every single week for at least year and a half now. So thank you for showing up. Thank you for sharing me with your friends and your family members. I mean, I'm not on social media platforms anymore, and I don't advertise that much, and probably like 99% of my business or 95% of my business is referral based. So, I cannot thank you enough for sharing me and the work that I do with your family members, I mean, and your loved ones and your friends. I mean, that is the greatest compliment, right? So, and it's so empowering, right? It's so supportive when we're all in this network, loving, sharing, supporting each other. I just feel like, even though you might be isolated in your space of growth, know that you are not alone, and there's so many of us going through it. And I just see us all gathering together at some point, when things open up and it's safe to gather. I just see us globally just kind of connecting, like all the little pockets of groups that have been doing all this work. I just see us all like, I don't know, crossing each other on like the energetic highway or roads or whatever in the streets, and just giving each other an energetic high five or a smile because we recognize each other, we connect with each other, we feel each other, right? And we're coming into our power on this planet. We're harmonizing the energies of the masculine and feminine energies, and we're changing these old paradigms of raising children and the way we work and the way we operate within our family dynamics and our friendships. It's like massive changes right now, friends. So it's so inspiring and so exciting, like I said in the beginning of the reading, and this is what we're doing. So again, I step into my power boldly and confidently. So I encourage you, which one resonates with you? I'm probably going to use this one as the cover, maybe, because that's pretty darn awesome. All right, I think it's time to wrap up. I'm getting a little punchy. All right, so let me close space. Let me thank all your guardian angels and guides, the archangels, the ascended masters, the divine mother and father, and all their holy beings of light that assisted with this guidance for you today. And I'm going to ask that any healing that was started continue for as long as it needs to be done. Again, friends, I cannot thank you enough for showing up every week, for being present, for watching these videos, for just sharing me, sharing this work, just sharing any information that you've received that's touched your heart. I know I'm planting seeds here, and I know things are growing, and just you going out and just sharing the information and, what you're learning with your own loved ones. This is how we change a planet. And I'm so honored and so grateful. It's such a treasure to just be a drop in the water that makes up the entire ocean. So again, thank you so much for being here. I love you. God loves you so much. Trust in the divine, trust your intuition, and I send you love with heavenly hugs. Bye for now.